Hello, I'm Matthew with Wide Vision Metal Fab, and this is a very detailed step-by-step instruction of how to set up and use the VEVOR MR-13B drill bit sharpener. If you're looking for just a quick overview of this machine, I did that in a separate video. This video really goes into a lot of detail. However, before I get into the instructions of this, I do want to recap my feelings of this machine and say that it is very well built. It is a very precise and a very fast way to put good, sharp edges on your drill bits. The first step is to figure out what size of collet you're going to need. It does both metric and SAE drill bits, no problem. However, everything is marked in metric from 2 to 13 millimeters. These collets do have numbers engraved on them, but those numbers are actually really difficult to see. So as long as you keep them in the right place, there is raised numbers here on this collet holder. The best thing to do to figure out what size collet you need is if you had a pair of digital calipers, set it to metric, measure your drill bit. That's 12.59 for a ½ inch. So I grabbed the collet that is 12 to 13 millimeter because that's in between 12 and 13. These collets have a range on them. They are not just one size. They're expanding little collets here. Pretty cool things. I'm going to use this ½ inch drill that I broke the tip off and quickly reground it by hand. Since it has this yellow coating on it, I think it'll show up well in the video. So the first thing you do is unscrew your little collet holder here. And on this part of it, you will notice that it is not perfectly round. There's a little lip on this end. So what you do is you put the collet in at an angle like this and hook it on that lip. You gotta do it just right. There we go. And it will actually catch. See, it'll stay in there. Then you put this retaining nut on it. Slide your drill bit in a little ways and just kind of snug this down. Don't tighten it up at all. And you'll kind of want to align the cutting edge of the drill bit here to this flat spot. This cutting edge right here is basically parallel with this flat spot right here. And then screw this dial down all the way. So tighten it up, righty-tighty, all the way. And then we're going to back it off until this number corresponds with the size. So this corresponds with basically 12.5 metric. So I'm going to turn this nut lefty-loosey until we're at 12.5 on the dial here. Then we're going to stick the collet and the drill bit that is loosely in there in here. Then we're going to turn the collet to the right until it stops. We're going to turn the drill bit to the right until it stops. And then we're going to tighten up this ring out here. And then our drill bit is set the correct depth and the correct angle according to these flats. Once we got our depth and orientation set in this station, we come over to this station, it says grind point angle, and we will insert the drill bit in here, and the collet will go in those flats along this slot, and this will sharpen the angle of the drill bit here. If you notice down here is currently set for 118, which is pretty normal for a drill bit. You can go from 90 all the way to 140 by loosening the set screw in here, and that will turn the angle of this thing. So before we actually put that in there, we're going to get this thing turned on, get it spun up, and then we'll do this. And actually, for your viewing pleasure, I'm going to remove this guard on the side so you can see exactly what's going on in there. As you can tell, it took everything off from the middle, clear out to the edge on both sides. So it has a good cutting edge now, but the relief back here is all wrong. So what we're going to have to do with this bit is put it back in the gauge over here, reset it, and then try sharpening it again over here. We'll simply put it back in over here, loosen up the collet. Nope, the drill bit won't slide. It's stuck in there. And that's because this collet actually clamps down really good. But if you screw this out, there, it popped it loose, and now it's free to slide again. So we'll just go snug. There we go. We'll put it in here, rotate the collet to the right, and turn this drill bit to the right so it hits that gauge. Tighten down the collet, and then we'll go back over to the sharpening station. And it took a little more off of it. So if you have a really bad drill bit, you're going to end up doing this back and forth thing several times for this. So I'm going to do this a few more times off camera here, and then we'll jump up to the next step. Alright, and for the next step, and should be final step, we're going to go up to this top station here. It's got these pins in it, which align with the flats on this collet once again. We're going to put this in here and wiggle it back and forth. It'll only go so far because of these pins. Then we'll do a half a turn and wiggle it until it hits those pins. And what this will do is give you that relief back here. So we'll probably grind off this spot here where it didn't grind it off already. It should bring that down a little bit more. And these pins here adjust how much of this backside you take off. All right, once again, I'm going to open this cover. Do not operate this thing without that cover, but I'm going to open that cover so you can see what's going on in there. So as maybe you can see here, if the camera will focus, is that because I hand ground this last time, it didn't grind this backside here. It started to make a little bit of a split point. Can you see it right there? But it didn't come down and touch any of this. So I'm going to remove this far right pin on this setting, because according to the book, you just use the number 3 position by itself. It's currently on 3 and 4. So I remove pin 4. The next position up is number 3. So we'll remove the pin on this right, which is number 4. And then it'll just be the pin right in the middle, and we'll see if it'll grind a little bit more off the back side here. There we go. Pulling that pin out. As you can see, it took a little bit more off the very back side of this drill bit here. Gave it some relief. Now, if I wanted to get really picky about this, I could start this process all over again and get rid of that little divot right there and that little divot right there. So, do our gauge block thing there again, turn it on. Make sure it's clear to the right. Stick it in here. And turn it half a turn, do it again. Okay, I'm going to come up here, and do this. Turn it half a turn. I'm going to go back half a turn again. There we go. Alright. Let's look this over. I do not see any divots on that bit. And that thing is shiny. That is a really good sharpening job. Wow. That is nice. That is a really, really good job. Let's put this bit in the mill and see how it does. I'm going to do it without oil for right now, that way you can see what's going on. I think it's cutting both sides very well. It looked like both sides are cutting really well. I think those, the chips it just threw off. Oh yeah. So, cutting pretty good on each side. It's not taking much downforce at all to drill through this. That's a very round circle. Alright, now we'll see if it pulls when it gets through it. Man, that felt really good. Alright, let's see if there's a big burr on the back side. Ooh, there is not. So this is the top side, that was the back side. Nice round hole. Chips looked good. Sharpening this bit was definitely an extreme case, but this sharpener had no problems doing this. So just touching up your regular bits is not going to be a problem at all.